Hello everyone, it's Davide here and welcome back to Learning Finance. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Today, airlines absolutely crazy, okay? Absolutely crazy. 26% on American Airlines, and also other companies are doing pretty well. Let's take a look. 12%, almost 13% on Delta Airlines. And let's what we have here. Southwest Airlines, boom, 8-9%. Okay, that's normal because it was the last undervalued one, as I showed you before. But the question is, what is happening? Okay, what is happening? And the reason why I'm doing this video is because I told you 1 month ago about that. Okay, about what is happening today. I told you 1 month ago. Back in the time when Warren Buffett was saying, "Oh, I sold all the airlines, I sold everything," and everyone was like, "Oh, airlines are gonna be bad, they're gonna be bad," and I was making a video say why I bought more, explaining you what I'm gonna summarize in this video. Okay, so let's take a look. And leave me a like if you find this video interesting and subscribe to the channel. Alright guys, so look at that. American, incredible. This one is absolutely incredible, okay? And as you know, I opened two positions, one at $10.20 and another one even lower, below 10, around $9.80, okay? And I did those kind of videos back then when the channel was really small, and probably I don't know if some of you just watched them. I hope for you you did, because I explained to you this, okay? This is what I explained to you more than 1 month ago, okay? And now finally the market realized that, okay? Airlines stocks in broad rally as TSA data show travel demand keeps rising. Okay, how many times I told you that that was the most important document for airlines? Okay, that one, guys. And so, why are airlines going crazy nowadays? Because the market finally realized that we went through a pandemic with around 90,000 passengers per day, which is absolutely insane comparing to the previous years, or more than 2.2 million per day, okay? But now, this was the worst of the worst. And that was back when, like, Warren Buffett was talking, okay? The worst. And cannot happen something worse than that, okay? And in fact, look at what's happened. From April, right now, it started to climb up, and now we are steadily above 250,000 per day and almost above 300,000 passengers per day, okay? And that is very important. It is more than a 3x. It's almost a 3.5x in 2 months, okay? In 2 months, in 1 month and a half. And why is that important? Why is that important? Go to check the video I did 1 month ago, this one. I explained you 1 month ago why this was important. And now finally the market realized that. This is important because, as always, let's go in our Excel. This is important because if those numbers here are going back to a certain levels, those companies, especially American Airlines, which is the worst one in terms of situation in the balance sheet, and Delta is the same, Southwest, all of them, they're gonna, the risk of bankruptcy for them is gonna fade away, okay, because they are coming back to break even. And here I showed you the real numbers for American Airlines, okay? I showed you this 1 month ago. And this is what is going to happen right now. This is why the market is now crazy about that, okay? Because they are starting to realize that. What I told you here we were like earnings, okay? American Airlines earnings, and they were a net loss in Q1 of 2.24 billion, okay? And I told you, well, okay, they received money from the US Treasury, and 4.1 billion is a grant, okay? And this grant was given to American Airlines to payroll, okay? So payrolls here, you have basically 2.05 and 2.05 in payrolls for Q2 and Q3, okay? You see the payrolls cost is 2.05 billions, okay, given by the grant. So it's free for them, it's a grant. And a loan of 1.7 billion. Now, what was the assumption here? The assumption here is that, as I told you many times, those companies, they were cutting costs, okay? And Delta, in that period, just released that they cut costs of 60%, okay? So basically, I told you, well, American Airlines is gonna do the same, okay? The same. In fact, you see articles that they say we are gonna be a smaller company, and they were cutting some lines, and they were throwing away some old planes and things like that because they were cutting costs, okay? So I told you, let's see how much of those passengers per day they need to go back to break even, so to stop to burn money every day, okay? And this is what basically happened. If now, let's say the operating revenue was 0, okay? They had a cost of revenue of 4.3 billion, and the grant, so the payrolls, they were 2.05 billion, okay? So of those 4.3 billion, 2.05 were covered for Q2 and Q3 by the grant, okay? So we are left with a net loss of 2.25 billion for American Airlines, okay, in Q2 and Q3. Now the question is, how much of operating revenue I need to go back to break even? Considering the grant, I need 2.25 billion, okay? Okay, so this is the assumption. Now let's go back to the TSA checkpoint passengers per day. Why? Because here is what we can see. Now, the average passengers per day in 2019 was 2,100,000 per day, okay? Per day. In general, in US. And with this kind of numbers, American Airlines were making 10.6 billion in operating revenues, okay? But we need 2.25 to go back to break even, okay? In each quarter. So what happens? We need 2.25, and how many of those passengers we need to reach 2.25 billion in operating revenues, okay? It's pretty simple. You do the ratio, and you get that to reach break-even, American Airlines need around 445 and 46,000 passengers per day, okay? And they are a break-even if that happens. Now, this number right here is not too distant from those, okay? It's just 100,000 more. And we can get those numbers considering that the worst of the pandemic looks gone, okay? So now the market is starting to realize that. And well, guess what? The price has completely exploded, okay? And if you're wondering why, well, this is why. And I was telling you those exact things more than 1 month ago, okay, when everyone was throwing shit in the airlines industry, okay? And that's it. That's what is happening right now. And another thing, without considering the grant, okay, let's say in Q4 that we don't have the grant anymore. So to go to break even, they will need 4.3 billion, okay, in operating revenues. Again, we do another ratio and we get that to go in break even without the grant, American Airlines need around 852,000 passengers per day, okay? And if we compare with the previous year number, is not even 40 to 50%, okay? It's like, yeah, it's probably 45% of the previous year numbers, 40%, something like that. So we don't need those numbers to let the bankruptcy risk fade away, okay? And that was the market is realizing now. And if those numbers are going, for example, near 1 million per day, those companies, they are gonna come back to be profitable, okay? And that's it. So that's why the market is going up today. I hope